This is soup for my family. Isn't it wonderful? Soup for my family. It's incredible. It's the perfect size. The size of a football. Soup for my family. It's unbelievable.
Welcome back to Soup for My Family, the only podcast that you can subscribe to for free or for pay. Really, it's the only one.
Only us.
Yes, I'm the all over the place John Shrek, and this is my best pal,
John Holmes.
Boom! We nailed their names. We got them.
We're getting better.
They will remember them, like going to a comedy show and hearing the comedian's name and then watching them perform and enjoying it. You will also remember our names.
Yeah. Remember, witness me, right? Like, that's what I say every time I go on stage now.
Acknowledge
Witness
my
me.
existence. I want to I'm going to start beginning my sets with my tag. You know, some people who are new to an open mic will end their set saying, "Hey, follow me on Twitter at something you're not going to remember, so this is a waste of your time." I'm going to start opening my sets with that, and you know, hopefully that instead of enjoying my set, they'll like be trying to find me on Instagram, and I'll say it wrong, and they'll type it in wrong, so they'll be looking the whole time. They won't hear any of my set, but they'll be following me on Instagram eventually, or maybe they won't.
Oh yeah, that's all that matters nowadays. Is just if you're an influencer.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if people enjoy your set in person. Like, if they're not following you afterwards, it was a waste.
Total waste. Total waste, just like my mind, you know?
Yeah, I'm wasted too. It's 3 o'clock in the morning.
3 o'clock in the morning. Let's get wasted.
Oh, you're cracking into I already cracked into mine. So
that's the signal nowadays, right? That's the signal. That's our signal for here we go.
That you open your drink. Mine's either my drink matches your outfit. Good Lord, look at that. It's not quite. It's actually, well, I guess it is red. I thought it was pink, but you know it is. It's red and gold, just like the Soviet stripes.
Yep. Stars and Soviets.
Fun story about this booze that I'm drinking is this was received for free. Got my second vax.
Yeah, baby.
I got the Johnson & Johnson twice just to be safe. It had a lower percentage, so I thought let's double it up.
Triple it if you can. You know.
I mean, there's no one that's going to stop me. I keep getting emails from the Georgia government now saying, "Hey, you didn't sign up with the Georgia government to get a vaccine. Make sure you do that. It's available to you." And I'm like, well, I'll just go do it. See how many I can get in me. I'll be the case study for how much vax is too much vax.
Yeah.
And we will have it. We will
autistic.
Or more than I am already. You know, I don't know if you can do stand up without being somewhat.
I mean, it's a spectrum. It's a spectrum.
It certainly is.
We're all on it.
Just like love, just like colors, it's a spectrum.
Exactly.
Pride Month is coming up, so we got to start appealing to that.
Yeah, they're going to rise up soon, the autistics. They're going to rise up and demand that we give them whatever they want.
John,
what do you think they want, John?
What do you think Facebook is? Yeah, what do you think? What do you think disrupting from the Silicon Valley is? That is an entire. You know, they are the billion. Elon Musk is going to host Saturday Night Live, John. Like they've already taken over.
I know, right? I saw that and I was like, no way. And then I saw that thing that it was actually real, and I'm like, holy shit! Why are they letting this guy? I mean, he's got to be an asshole, right?
Hey, man, he hangs out with Dave Chappelle on the night that he gets COVID and Joe Rogan when he smokes weed on his podcast. So he's pretty funny. Yeah, funny by association.
He's the cool billionaire, right?
Yeah. He's like Batman.
Yeah, who does nothing.
Or the other example of a good billionaire. There's not one. No, I do think it's funny. There seems... people are very upset about it. Like Trump didn't host it. Al Gore hosted it, and it was terrible.
Yeah.
Michael Phelps. Like, there's a lot of people who shouldn't be hosting SNL. You know.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Did Lance Armstrong ever host?
He did. I Googled worst SNL hosts after that because I was like, I wanted to write something maybe for Twitter or say something on here. And Lance Armstrong was one of them. Rudy Giuliani, he hosted it.
Yeah.
But, you know, everyone was high on his post 9/11 buzz.
Yeah. He could have run for president. Didn't he? In the primaries?
It wasn't around that time, though, I don't think. It wasn't until way later. It was
but
like
I'm 2008.
I guess he probably did run in 2008, but everyone was over it by then. Everyone hated the Iraq War. And
there's 2 wars started unjustly. So,
yeah, the rah-rah was over. He needed to run in 2004, but there's no way that the party was going to let him do that. He's not like Trump in that way. He's not going to like try to bust it all open. He's a player, not a, leader.
Coach. Player, not a coach.
Yeah. Oh, but I was gonna say about this alcohol. Got the vax, and this brewery in Atlanta is giving away free 12 packs to anybody that gets
vaxxed. Got a nice one.
Yeah. So we both got a 12 pack.
Cheers to that.
Stayed there and drank beer, but yeah, it was 12 packs of their seltzer. So like, who cares? But free alcohol.
Hey, buddy. Free alcohol is always appreciated.
And also, that's all we've been drinking lately is seltzers.
Yeah.
Seltzers on seltz. We should change this podcast name to, what seltzer are you drinking this week? It's always Corona for you, but for me, it's something different.
I've tried other seltzers, but this one right here is passion fruit. Yummy.
I'm feeling so passionate and fruity.
I have fruit passion. You know what I mean? I love fruits.
Same. Same. So we didn't talk about this last week, but the whole Johnson & Johnson vaccine got pulled off the shelves for a minute.
Dude, what do you mean for a minute? It's still banned, isn't it?
No, it's back on as of last night.
Oh, really?
10-day hiatus, and now it's back, just like Louis C.K.
Yeah, man. He had a 10-day ban, and now he's back and better than ever.
That's right. But
so I got that. I'm sorry, John. Go ahead.
No, I wanted to get your thoughts on it. Did you freak out when you heard it?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, because my wife and I both got it, and then both got the Johnson & Johnson, and then like 3 days later, they were like, they pulled it, and we were like, oh, what's going on?
Oh boy.
I never had any side effects, so I'm wondering if it was just sugar water they gave me.
Wow.
Because I didn't have any side effects. I went to work and was fine.
What about Sarah? Was she all right?
No, she got the brunt, and she was real sick for like 2-3 days.
Damn.
And then after that it was, but she just thought it was just the normal, post-COVID shot sickness. But then 3 days later, we found out, oh no, it's getting pulled because people are developing blood clots, and it's like hitting women a lot worse.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been on edge. I've been telling her to go see a doctor, and she's like, yeah, maybe. And I'm like, all right, buddy. This winter,
are you still worried about it? Is she still feeling bad?
No, she's fine now. I mean, it's been like 2 weeks, but I still want her to get checked out. Yeah,
it is scary, but at the same time, it's crazy how quickly they shut it down. Yeah. It was like 6. I don't know if they died or they just had effects from it.
No, they died. Like 6 women died,
which is that is insane. But also,
I'm sorry, maybe I don't know if they died. I know that they developed blood clots.
Yeah, and were hospitalized because of it.
I'm not sure how many people actually died though.
Yeah, but I mean, people were posting this.
Yeah.
Right after the fact, but I didn't realize that like birth control has a
Yeah.
crazy high. It does the exact same thing. It may, it develops
Wait,
blood
what?
clots and all this. Yeah, birth control is like way higher percentage of like shit like this happening, and it's been
fuck.
known. Like women who take it are aware
Oh
of
fuck!
this fact.
Wait, John. I'm on birth control. I'm wearing a condom right now. Yeah, I gotta see a doctor, dude. I'll see you later. I gotta cut this short. I'm sorry.
On the front end or the back end? Where's that condom?
I got a dental dam up the back and a condom on my pee.
Hell yeah.
No
I
one
think
likes
this.
to
I think
taste
this.
ass. We all like eating ass. No one likes to taste the ass.
No comment.
Uh-oh, someone's being called out.
Agree to disagree. Seems to me the first time that anybody in America has seemed concerned about blood clots. I mean, what are they gonna take off the shelves next? McNuggets?
Uh-oh. Controversial. Because I've heard
Wild.
McNuggets develop blood clots.
Yeah, and like a lot of people have died from it. So I think
You know what
Dr.
I've
Fauci
heard?
needs.
I've heard people are dying because they're too fat.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Whoa.
Like an epidemic. An obesity epidemic.
Don't worry. There's plenty of money to be made off of that epidemic.
Oh, yeah,
so
dude.
we don't need to talk about that one too much.
Okay, I'm just saying. Remember how we all thought that was a pandemic, and then a real pandemic came?
Well, obesity is an epidemic.
Oh, it's an epidemic.
COVID's a pandemic. I don't remember what the difference is, but I think epidemic means that it is affecting Americans specifically, or
It's epidemic means it's all your fault.
yeah. Personal responsibility of pandemics.
Exactly. I'm a libertarian now.
Nice. I like it. Now the shirt's ironic.
Yeah. I'm totally being ironic, dude.
Yay. Damn. Yeah, I got the Pfizer. So
Yeah, you got the double dose.
Got the double dose. It's eventually going to be a triple dose, and then a fourth, fifth, every year until the day we die. So that's cool.
It's like a flu shot. You got to get it once a year.
Yeah,
It is a flu shot.
I think I've gotten a flu shot like 3 times in my life. So I guess I'll probably do the same thing for this. I just won't get it.
Nice. Did you have any side effects, or did Paige?
So we got it on Friday. Yesterday, she slept she took 2 really fucking long naps. So she was sleeping a lot because she was, feeling a little lethargic or, fatigued. I later in the evening was like, some of my muscles were sore, and like my arm where I was injected still is a little bit sore, and like under my armpit for some reason. But, I also started hitting that Delta 8 as soon as I woke up yesterday morning so that it would not matter. And you know what? Seemed to have worked. If I had any side effects, they were definitely numbed by the fact that I was self-medicating.
Yeah, dude. Did you know that weed is also good for non-emotional pain?
It can be.
It
just depends.
It can help you out on physical pain as well. So, I mean, it's a miracle drug.
Miracle drug. And this wasn't even that. This was just hemp. So, 100% legal in the state of Georgia. Hemp vape. That good shit.
Yeah, that Delta 88. Always good shit.
Surprising.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like a scam, but so far so.
Yeah. How is that? How's that? So that's been taking the edge off for you?
Yeah, lately.
Nice.
It's been fine. Like, I don't know. Yeah. It's like, I feel the same way about a lot of vapes where it sort of just makes me feel dumb.
Yeah.
Whereas smoking, like, even if I kind of go inside of myself, smoking is definitely more like, I don't know, it feels better, but vape, it gets the job done. This honestly, more than like some of the other things that I've had, has been like, because it is like a sativa, whatever that means for hemp.
What does that even mean for hemp?
I I have no idea. I guess it's just the effect. The effect is more of an active kind of feel. Definitely have to hit it more than other stuff, but other than that, I don't know. It seems all right. Seems like a decent alternative, you know?
Yeah. I mean, whatever helps you. I'm not gonna. What was that Kyle Kinane bit? Not here to be a goaltender or a goalie. I'm just if as long as you're not hurting anything, I'm not here to stop you. I'm just gonna, I'm butchering this bit. I don't even think it was
the sentiment.
It was just,
something he said in conversation.
Yeah, it was just something he said on an interview, and I'm just like, yeah, good.
This was a hilarious bit he did, and it was just really insightful. Like, oh, hilarious, John.
It was great.
Comedians are
All right,
philosophers.
I bombed that one. All right, you know what? Let's start over. We got to get this better.
All right. Welcome back to Chapo Trap House, the number one.
El Chapo.
The number one leftist podcast. That is literally like a top podcast, John. If you knew anything about podcasts, podcasts, John.
I mean,
yeah.
So El Chapo's Trap House is a podcast.
It's just Chapo Trap House, but might be able to get away with it if we go with El Chapo Trap House. So
what if we said? What if we did El Chapo's last Trap House on the left?
Yeah, now that would be perfect because there's a show called Last Podcast on the Left, which I'm actually not sure what.
Oh, you fucking think I didn't know that?
I don't know if that's a leftist podcast or if it's a horror movie.
It's a murder mystery podcast. That shit, not
Makes
murder
sense.
mystery. It's just a murder podcast.
We should think about getting into that. Like we can talk politics.
Did you see how much I just lit up?
I love it.
When you suggested that we talk about murder.
H.H. Holmes, John H. Holmes.
H.H. Holmes, that's me.
Yeah.
J.D. H.H. Holmes. I have 4 initials and a last name.
Which is like, I mean, you might as well be you're the author of Game of Thrones. That's you. Get back to work, young man.
Yeah.
You look better than the pictures make you look.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I mix those words up?
The words and the letters, it's all getting mixed up in my mind. You're CCCP Holmes. Mm-hmm. That's you.
That is me.
Damn. I'm trying to think of if we were all about town on Friday after we got our shots. We went into different breweries. Really, if we had it, we definitely spread it around. You know what I mean? Like, we can try.
I'm sorry. Did you hit up Krispy Kreme?
I thought about it. Did not. We got it. I mean, we got the beer. That's the thing, you know.
What kind of fat kid are you, Shrek? Not getting it. You could get as many as you could get like 3 dozen donuts.
Yeah, you could. I mean, you could get a bunch of these 12 packs too. I thought like they're not listing people's names. They're not like, okay, this person came through. They're just looking. All right, take the 12 pack.
All right. Well, I have to drive down to Atlanta now.
That'll be worth it. All the gas.
Pick up some creams. Pick up some creams. Pick up some packs.
Oh yeah, I guess you can't do the Krispy Kremes in Ohio because there's no actual stores.
Yeah, there is. There's one in Anderson on Beachmont. They built it not too long ago.
Nice. There's honestly, I mean, I think there's a few stores, but I don't really see it. It's not like Chick-fil-A. I'll tell you that. Yeah. There's no Chick-fil-A. That Krispy Kreme. They
so what else
should.
Did you get for free?
That was it. We just got that for free. We haven't shopped around. If there's anything else available, you better believe we're gonna go head first into that.
Yeah, dude. I asked. So I got my shot and then went to the weed store.
Like, you guys got any deals?
Yeah, that's exactly what I asked them. I was like, do you have any free shit for vaccinations? And they're like, no. And I'm like, fuck. Well, this was pointless.
I'm out. See ya.
The whole fucking vaccine was pointless then.
No, I think there's super strict regulate.
Why did I even get it?
It's a waste.
It's a waste.
I think there must be super strict regulation around that kind of thing, like giving weed products away for free. Because when we went to California last spring, we went to a dispensary that was celebrating its 3-year anniversary, and they had like an outside festival going on. They had a bunch of their suppliers there, had booths. You could
Nice.
sample product, which means smell the flower, or like they're like, we have this and this, we have this on special inside. And then places also had edibles samples, but it's edibles without any THC, CBD, anything.
Okay.
So they're just giving candy samples away.
It's just gummy worms, just gummy bears.
Exactly.
And that's sample.
Right.
That's
which it was so annoying to me. I'm like, why? I know what candy tastes like. Like the whole gimmick behind like an edible is like, wow, can you believe that this is like 100 milligrams and you can't even taste it? Although I do like to taste it a little bit. So like, I don't need more candy. There's candy at the store. Like, don't give me your fucking candy. I thought that was so odd.
This one's a Snicker. It'll fill you up. This one's a Reese's. It's got peanut butter in it. And you're like, wait, which one has the weed? And they're like, nothing. And you're like,
none of them.
All right, so you just stopped at a gas station before you came here. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. No, it's so funny. But it's also, so that I just infer from that they can't give away, like you can't just give away free. You can do like BOGO, but you can't give free.
Yeah. Oh, I get it. So they can't because I've bought weed in Michigan. I mean, I didn't buy it. I had a friend do it. When he went in, they just bought stuff. They gave him like a free joint. So I think that's legal if you can give like out. You can't give it out for free, but if you buy something, you can get something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I definitely did that too in California. So
yeah.
But whatever, you could at least smell it, and you know what? I really like the smell of it, John.
Yeah. Man, I just like looking at it. That's why I still subscribe to High Times.
High Times. For people who like high definition versions of different plants.
Yeah, man. I've never understood that concept of just that's like, remember when we talked about religion and I was like talking about my problem with Abraham and Isaac?
Yeah.
That story, it was where I like fell out of religion. High Times, like I don't, maybe I'm dumb or too dumb to understand it. I'm probably not, but I don't understand the idea of just looking at weed. The only time I want to look at good weed is when I'm about to smoke it.
Yeah.
Like,
or purchase it.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that's all the same thing, right? Like you're gonna smoke it.
You're gonna consume. You're gonna use it as a consumer.
Yeah. If I'm just, it's not even a scratch and sniff. If it's just a fucking picture of, I mean, it's like showing a picture of a dog. It's like, all right, yeah, cool.
Definitely modern day. I feel like maybe it was cooler back in the day because like people didn't have access to high quality stuff like we do in these here parts these days. This newfangled contraption. But back then they're like, first of all, they're supporting like it's like a countercultural thing where it's like super illegal, and they're like, I'm part of this thing, and the government's tracking me because I'm subscribed, probably.
Yeah, probably. No shit. I'm sure they probably did like try and raid their office. I'm sure the FBI has raided the offices of High Times, and I mean, maybe not raided, but gone in secretly and looked at their subscriber list.
Oh yeah, or just stole it from the USPS because they're in cahoots.
Yeah.
But like modern day, the fact that it still exists is a little baffling. You're like,
Yeah, I
what?
know, right?
Who is this for?
Even Mad Magazine's gone out of business. Come on, dudes. How are you still around?
And that was hilarious.
That was a great magazine.
Did it go away? It must have been recent.
Yeah, it was like a year or two ago. I think they ended it.
Because I'm pretty sure it existed during Trump.
Either ended it or stopped doing it monthly, and it's now like quarterly
or something.
Yeah.
Could be. Now it's going to be thick and have really long articles like the New Yorker or Current Affairs.
Current Affairs and Mad Magazine. We're struggling.
So what's going on with you, pal? You said before we started recording you did 7 shows this week. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I did. I was on stage. I didn't do 7 shows, but I was on stage 7 times this week. From Monday through Friday, so 5 days. I did 7 shows. I talked into a microphone 7 times.
Wow, 7 whole minutes of comedy from you this week, and that's
1 time. 1 week.
7 times as much as I did.
So my friend Evan Lewis from Louisville came up.
I'm sorry. Did you say Evan Williams?
Evan Lewis.
Lewis. Okay. I was gonna say Evan Williams. I think he's quite a draw.
Yeah, he's a pretty big guy in the alcoholic community.
Yeah. All right. Sorry.
All right, so he hit me up a while ago saying, "Hey, all right, so backstory, he's a fantastic comic. He's only been doing this for like 2 years or less than 2 years yet. He's already featuring at clubs. He's already got it down. He knows what to do. He's a great guy and a great comic. But he does have MS.
My staple gun?
Yeah, MSG, buddy.
I've been looking for that my fucking staple gun for weeks.
I know.
Damn it!
All right, just stop. You look so uncomfortable right now. I'm drawing it.
I'm gonna edit you out.
Yeah, I'm ratting you out. All right. So he hit me up a while ago and said, "Hey man, I'd like to do a couple mics in Cincinnati, like on a Monday." We've been friends for a while, but he was just like, but the problem is sometimes if I go there, I'm not good at driving at night because like the MS like messes up the multiple sclerosis will affect your vision. It can give you like double vision and shit. So he's like, I'm not always good to drive at night. Would you mind if I just crashed on your couch for a night? And I'm like, oh dude, that's so fine. Like that's not at first he was like, all right, let me give you some time, talk to your wife, talk it over with you. I'm like, dude, I don't need to talk it over with my wife. You're fine to stay a night in Cincinnati with me. That's not going to be a problem.
My house, my rules. She doesn't get to decide.
No, I meant like because we've done this so often with people. Comics come in from out of town. I always offer them a place to stay. She's always fine with it. She never really complained about it. But then I talked to him and said, well, if you want to come up on 419, then I have a show with Billy at 5 Points starting on 420. I can get you on that, and then you can just stay. And then if you want to stay that night, then you can leave Wednesday. And then everything just kind of hit this week for me. Because then someone asked me to do a show at Chameleon in Northside for the John Holmes and Friends show that they're doing. Like the Sonder Brewery is sponsoring this like kind of show where it's like a host headliner thing. So I go up, do some time, then I bring up everybody else. Last comic comes up, brings me up. I do like 30.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're calling it it's like a comic and friends show.
Uh-huh.
So and then they asked me to do that on the 21st. I was like, "Hey, Evan, if you want to stick around for longer, I can get you on this show because I'm headlining. Like I can do whatever I already had like 3 other comics, and I was like, I can give you like 10 minutes on. And he was like, okay, yeah, I'll stick around. So, and then Thursday night there are 2 open mics,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, hey, if you want to stay late, if you want to stay again,
Hey
so I
man, if
just
you want to
like
move in
he
with
got on
us,
stage like, yeah, dude. Honestly, I love that kid. I
well,
love
that's
that kid.
fun.
He's good, and so he stayed for 4 nights up here with me. I got him on 6 shows,
So he did more
six,
sets than you did.
4 mics and 2 shows. Yeah, well, I did only because on Friday I had a show at the Comet, the
Yeah,
Grotto that Wayne puts on.
yeah. I saw the pics today. They've got a whole thing set up there. It looks
Oh
fancy.
yeah,
It's nice.
I don't think I've been on Facebook today.
It was on
All right,
Insta, but yeah,
that's
I
awesome.
saw the thing they constructed. That's cool.
Oh. Well, whatever it is, I haven't been on the internet today. I woke up, did another podcast because I'm cheating on you, and yeah, you don't give a shit,
Eh,
fucking cuck.
eh, eh, eh.
I'm making a podcast calc out of you, and you don't even care.
What makes you think I'm not rock hard down there right now? You don't know me.
Oh, I see it, buddy.
Shirt's moving. Whoa, what's that?
Uh-oh. What's that down there? Is that a hard boner, or are you just happy to see me? Is that an erect penis, or are you happy to see me?
Yes, and
Both. Yeah.
both.
Yes, and.
Yes, and
Yes,
both.
and my balls are tingly too.
Fuck yeah. So
So
last night was your night off.
I've been on. Yeah, last night I just stayed in. Yeah, I stayed in on Saturday night. Yeah,
Yeah.
hung out with Sarah. Yeah, it was nice. Good day
Nice.
yesterday. Just
Good
not
day.
doing comedy for once, and
Felt like quarantine again. It was like old days.
I know, right? Just like the old uns.
Back in the good old days when we couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, man. Oh, that was glorious. Google. Okay, Google.
Okay, Google.
You don't know what that's about, do you? Because you have that iPhone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm totally ignorant to anything Google related or
Hey,
Amazon
man.
related. I'm all Apple.
You a dummy.
My memories have been uploaded to the cloud, and they remove anything that's not Apple related.
Yeah. As they should be, right? Those poor fucks think they can have a phone that's not an iPhone? Fuck you. Think you get access to a phone? Never.
No. Not for you. You can get a BlackBerry.
You get a Nokia. You get a Nokia, Grandma.
With Snake too.
Yeah.
The second cell phone that my mom had Snake too, and it was way harder. It was not as fun.
No fair.
Yeah. Older is better. The OG
yeah.
is what you want.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It's a great game. Eat all the things, develop a long snake.
Get
Ride
longer
the
and
snake.
longer and get longer and longer until you explode.
You got to eat until you explode.
'Cause you know how
That's what
when
Thicc taught
you
me.
touch your that's a Christian allegory. It says if you touch yourself, you will explode.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I remember reading that in Genesis.
Yeah. That's what the snake and Eve was all about.
Yeah, because she ate that apple and then exploded with child
Ooh.
or childs.
Whoa, children.
Yeah, because they were brothers. Were they twins?
I don't think they were twins, but they had to fucked because how else would we have gotten here?
That snake definitely fucked Eve. Is that blasphemous? You know what? We're gonna get canceled.
I don't know. Is that blasphemous? I mean, they're not holy people. They're just the first ones. Like, there's nothing. They're not
Yeah.
saints. They're not. They just
They're
were
not
first.
saints because they're the first people on Earth.
Yeah, but
They
so
were-
what?
They're the OGs. They are. That is blasphemous. Is what I was. Yes. Because it's
I don't know if I buy it.
going against the religious text.
I mean,
That is
Eve
the definition.
sinned. Eve sinned, and that's the reason that we got to wear clothes and shit. So, like,
That's true. Hey, did you ever find it odd? I want to ask you this as a atheist. Did you ever think that? Did you ever find that it was just the wildness of the idea that the apple she ate was from the tree of knowledge?
I thought that
And
that
then-
was like irony
Yeah,
on purpose.
I know, right? Like
It's like the tree
it's
of
like,
knowledge.
It's like they lived in paradise and then ate the apple, and then they were like, "Oh, we're naked." And then they and then so I think what I'm saying is to live in the Garden of Eden, you have to be an idiot.
Or be ignorant to,
Yeah, you have to be ignorant to
reality.
everything around you and just think that you're in the garden and think that's what heaven is.
Ignorance is Eden. Ignorance is bliss,
Ignorance
right?
is bliss, dude. That's what I'm saying. That's what that story taught me, is that ignorance is bliss. And I'm like, oh, okay.
If you're smart, you'll never be happy.
Yeah. and it's like okay, so why are you founding a religion on the idea that ignorance is bliss? I mean, I get it, but hey, we don't want too many thinkers out there. Shut up and just obey. I mean,
yeah, obey. Don't disobey orders of don't eat the apple.
No.
If you do that,
Yeah,
if you do that, you might learn you something.
yeah, exactly.
Do you know that there's a lot of, like, I'll bet, find like a Christian in your life and explain to them that women don't have one less rib. Like, people believe that
dude.
women have one less rib. I honestly did until, like, I don't know when, but it was like beyond the point where I like lost the faith,
Wow.
I just like, I never, it's not like I thought about it all the time, but I just like, oh yeah, well, women have one less
But wouldn't
rib.
men have one less rib? Because
men.
Rib.
Yeah,
Yeah.
men.
Yeah, that's not true. That's
Yeah,
never
totally
been
not true. But that was also there were so many things about, like, especially the book of Genesis, that were taught to me, like, as Catholicism, of like, oh no, that's not literal. Like, I think even like the Noah story, they're like, they didn't actually like drown the whole world or whatever. It was like it's an allegory or whatever.
Oh, dude, that's crazy.
But it's so funny to me, and I can't remember if it was a teacher, if it was my mom or whoever, but they were like, yeah, women have one more rib than men. Like, nobody believe, like, it's literally scientifically verifiable.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, I guarantee there's someone that that thinks that.
I hope not. I've tried to unfriend everyone who thinks religion. Fuck you, Zach Wyckoff.
It's the first thing I do in conversation. I say, do you think that women have one more rib than men do, you fucking idiot? And then they're like, whoa, hello, hi.
Aggro much? Okay, alpha male.
And they're like, I had all my ribs removed.
Yeah, so I can suck my own ass. Tom to car reference.
We're back. We're back.
We're
back.
And we're back.
And we're back. Yeah.
Remember that, Mike Cody?
Oh,
You don't know?
I might.
Senior correspondent.
Senior. Yes. I remember that from Underbelly.
Yeah, and underbelly, bitch. Mike Cody. Like to give him a shout out.
The best. So funny. Somebody on Jeopardy this week. I came in after that show that I was just talking about, and they're watching Jeopardy, and I was like, oh my god, it's Mike Cody. There's like one of the contestants looked straight on, and Paige was like, yes, that's what I said too, but my parents don't know who that is. Yeah. I was like, all right, so it wasn't. Sometimes you see somebody and it's just something in your brain, but to have to have her say that was perfect. He was on there.
Nice. All right, you got a list of shit you need to get off your chest. We've been bullshitting enough.
Oh, so many
Let's do it.
so many things to vent about. This morning we went on a walk, okay? This walk, we ended up at the new stadium where the Braves play. So we were out in the suburbs.
Cobb County.
Cobb County. Look at you, John. Been reading the news or something?
No, I just remember you said that last week.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you're my news and my muse.
Ooh, love to hear it. MEWS, like the Pokemon?
Sure.
Number 151.
Mewtwo.
John, it surprises me that you don't like Pokemon. Very much. I'm very surprised.
I know, right? Well, it came out when I was like in like 7th grade. So I was like, oh, no, I'm too mature for Pokemon. I don't even like it. So I just never got into it.
It is funny because I mean, when it was at its hottest I was like 4th, 5th grade.
Yeah.
And we were all into it. And then like a couple years later, it was like, it felt embarrassing to be doing it at all, which is it's so funny to me now, especially like when that Pokemon Go came out like 4 or 5 summers ago, where it was huge. Like everyone was super into it. I'm like, man, I never had to feel like it wasn't cool. That's such bullshit. Like it was always cool, John. Pokemon was always cool. And it makes me feel way better that I played all the damn games over the years. But then, all right, Pokemon Go came and went in terms of its like widespread popularity. And then I started again being embarrassed to have Pokemon Go open because people are like, you're still playing that shit, you fucking loser? I'm like, yep, still doing it. Sometimes I'm still doing it.
Buddy, everything's cyclical. It'll come back around again.
It will come back around, and there are people who still play. There's a park that I walk to with the dog every single day, and every once in a while I'll walk over there at like 5 or 6 o'clock at night, and there'll be just random huge groups of people not talking to each other, not saying a word to each other, just looking at their phones because they're doing a Pokemon gym battle.
Hell yeah.
So it's still thriving. It's just not, the biggest thing that has ever existed for some reason in the summer of 2016.
Great summer.
But anyways, was on a walk collecting miles for my Pokemon Go collection. No, wasn't doing that. Well, we were on a walk and we were just looking because it rained last night. We're looking for somewhere dry to walk. We're walking around. We ended up at Truist Park, which is their fucking, bank sponsored. We get there. I already have, it's where the Braves play. And first of all, it is in the middle of just massive expanses of office park. It's like if they dropped a stadium on top of like Tri-County Mall in Cincinnati or some shit. It's like it's out in the suburbs and it's like literally surrounded by office parks, which is just like,
that's wild.
This sucks. This sucks. Like in terms of like a game day experience, we didn't go to the game today, did buy tickets the other day. So we're going to go anyways, but we were looking for somewhere to walk that was dry. But there's a doubleheader today. So there was like people already milling about, like, walking to go to the game at about, 10:30, 11 o'clock this morning. And I was like, I know everyone talks about this shit, but like, all these new stadiums are frustrating to begin with the way that cities like kowtow to them. But like this one in particular, they built a stadium in 1990 for the 1996 Olympics for the Braves. So like not that old, younger than me.
Yeah, dude.
And it's still being used. It's now being used, I think, by Georgia State for their football team, that stadium. And it's like, it's downtown in the city center, like where a fucking stadium belongs. And they just dump like $1 billion into this huge fucking fake city.
Yeah.
20 miles from the city. No trains run there. That would be one thing.
Oh,
you go to Chicago. No MARTA. You go to Chicago, you can take the train from Wrigley Field down to the White Sox Stadium. They're both right off of the fucking train. They're not in the loop. The stadiums aren't there in the loop. They're outside a little bit, but they're at least off of a train line. They could have at the very least had this stadium off of a train line. There's no way to access it via public transit. You could probably, piece together some buses or whatever. So it's incredibly inaccessible. All of the places around, it's surrounded by office parks and hotels. So the only places that it's possible to park is in a hotel parking lot or in an office park parking lot, and they're all charging, $20. So like Paige was talking about this a little bit. Like it's like depressing for the people who were making some kind of profit by being near the stadium downtown and like all these different, small businesses, which how many of these places are reputable? They're selling parking space, so who cares? But at the very least, you could think, oh, this place has like a shitty sign, so, I'm supporting this small business owner by parking here or something. Like the only options out there is private developers and other private developers who are leasing out their parking space for the baseball games. And like, so we decided we're going to walk around the baseball park. You say what you were going to say though, before I get past.
I was just going to ask. So there's no bars or like anything you can hit up on the way there, or is it just like all office spaces and hotels?
So, all right. So I was going to get to that. So basically what they've done is they've plopped down a stadium with like, it's kind of like the Banks, but like times 4.
Oh, okay.
In Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Where they've got it's all just like chain restaurants and shit. There's a Wahlburgers, there's a fucking Yard House. All this shit, but so they've got a little fake city and they've got a bunch of these cookie cutter apartment buildings like we were talking about last week. Like an obscene amount of them though. Like there's so many of them that I'm like, they're never going to fill this. Like who wants to live here other than huge baseball fans, which I mean, I understand you want to like live by the stadium. That'd be fun. But like, first of all, it's probably not fun for that long. It's going to be noisy as fuck all the time. There's also so much space to fill. It's like, who's going to pay? Because you're going to be paying prime property prices for renting. I don't know if they have condos. Maybe they do. But like super expensive to live over top of a mall attached to a baseball stadium is what you're doing. So like, I don't know why you would want to live there unless you're like a huge fan of Yard House. Like, got to be at Yard House for all the big games, whether it's baseball or other. They've got so many beers, John. You can get a big thing of beer. Big guy. It doesn't get bigger than this, but
You get giant beers.
So I'm going in. I'm expecting all this stuff, and as much as I'm like against all of these new developments and like the new FC Cincinnati Stadium and all this shit.
Yeah.
I like to be able to go into the situation and just enjoy it,
There you go.
I'm like, I know that this is fucking evil, but like, I can at least enjoy. We didn't go to the game. We're just walking around there. We had the dog with us, all this shit. But like, the place put me in a fucking bad mood.
Oh yeah?
We walk in. All right. So this it was such a combination of like all of the shit together where I'm just like, this is so frustrating. The whole thing is fucking frustrating. But anyways, we get into like the little fake, because we kind of have to go around the stadium to get to the like town. It's called the Battery.
Battery.
That's what it's called. The Battery ATL, which is not in the ATL area code, I don't think, or whatever, but just slightly outside of ATL. It's closer than where I am right now. Regardless, we get over there and they're pumping music through, like you do in any shopping center, but like the music is like old-timey brass, like New Orleans. Like I felt like I was on Main Street USA at fucking Magic Kingdom. Like it literally felt like Disney World. And I was telling Paige this. I was like, I literally feel like we're at Disney World, but this is supposed to be like a place that people want to come and like live.
Yeah, that's what Disney World is.
I guess that's true, but they don't have apartments in Disney World.
They do, but they're secret.
Could be. There's a second layer of tunnels, and that's where the mouse people live.
Hell yeah. We call them animators here where I'm from, but whatever.
Which is surprising that put me in a bad mood, because that's all I want. I want to go to fucking, go to Universal Studios, Disney, go escape from it all and ride some fucking rides. Yay, I thought the music should put me at ease, because I'm a psycho and I watch, like Disney videos and shit of people hanging out at Disney World. John, I do that. I don't know if I've admitted that much.
No, you haven't.
I don't even know. I don't even know why, because I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna spend the money to go. But there's something about it's like it's not even Disney. I'm like not one of those Disney guys, but like I just like I like a themed area. You know, I loved Universal Studios as a kid. I was all into that shit.
Yeah, that was great. But you didn't like the theme of white privilege.
of old timey music walking around in this like perfectly constructed fake town. And here, okay, so I've touched on this a couple times in the past few weeks about the name of the Braves, but like it was making me increasingly like annoyed. Like all these people, all these white people, it was 98% white people.
Yeah.
Which is to be expected. It's fucking baseball. But Atlanta is not a 90% white people city. Like I found myself in way more social situations or just out and about where it's not like all white people, like in Cincinnati, you know?
Yeah.
And I pick up on that because I come from a place that is so like segregated in that way. This is not even a conscious action on most people's part, which is kind of part of the problem. But like everyone's got their Braves stuff on and it's the Braves name with the fucking tomahawk underneath. There's a place I guess it's in the stadium probably, or it's right outside of the stadium called the Chop House.
Oh, it's not like a steakhouse.
Well, it probably is, but like that's the implication, which apparently that is no longer a part of the game day celebrations of like encouraging people to do the.
They've done it. Yeah, they try to stop that, but I mean,
they're woken it up. But
they're woken it up.
They've got this brand new complex, and instead of trying to get away from that kind of imagery or something literally called a chop house, with the tomahawk, they're just like, fuck it. We'll change it later when we have to.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm not supporting that business. I'm going to the scalping house.
Try the veal scallopinis.
Yeah, there you go.
The scalloped potatoes. The scallops.
You got it.
Yeah, other forms of other things that you can scallop. I don't think there's any more. I think it's it. Potatoes and the fish. The fish, the sea bug, whatever a scallop is. The most delicious shellfish, I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, it's very good. I like scallops.
It's great.
Yeah, dude, I'm sorry you didn't have a good time experiencing white privilege.
Listen, it was a nice fun walk, but it affected my mood way more than I thought it would. I thought it would be like fun, laid back. We'll check it out. I know it's going to be corny and like the worst ever, but I can enjoy that. Like I can enjoy the worst ever. Like I'm not above that, but like so many little things piled up, and I was like, God, this fucking sucks. And I can't wait to come back here in 2 weeks and watch the Phillies beat the Braves.
There you go.
Because that's what we're doing. We're going. It's the day that we are fully inoculated. Friday the 7th. So it'll be our first thing we do after being
cough in everyone's face, right? Just no.
Dude, I am going to deep throat the toilet plunger when you the urinal, you know, when you flush. The flush. I think it's also called a plunger. I'm going
a handle.
I'm going throat deep on the handle, on the flusher. The flushy knob.
Handle.
That thing.
Yeah. You know what? I say you take it up a notch. Fucking COVID is a hoax, and you gotta lick that toilet seat. I dare you to lick a urinal to prove that COVID is fake.
I'll do it. I will do it.
Yeah, dude.
The audio cut out. The audio cut out for me, but I'm wondering if maybe it recorded. I hope it did. We'll make it work. So, in a couple weeks, we'll go over there and support one of those office parks by spending $25 a park there. And then we'll support one of those chain restaurants. And then we'll go inside and support the Atlanta Braves financially, which is the most that you can really have an effect over a corporation. And I say I'm going to give over that power immediately because I just want to watch baseball live, John. I'm not even a huge baseball guy, but I got to get out there.
It's fun to get out there though. Are they at full capacity or are they like reduced?
No, it's
Oh,
reduced.
okay, that's good. That's at least
And
something.
I would assume that that's an MLB thing more than it is a team thing. Although the Texas Rangers or somebody, they did a full ass capacity game. So
it's the state thing.
yeah, so I guess Kemp did come out a couple weeks ago and said like we're not opening up yet, but I guarantee in the next few weeks it's going to be balls to the wall. Everything is lifted.
Goddamn.
So I hope these shots worked, John, because
Hey, buddy, I've been taking shots since I was a wee lass, and they've always worked for me.
what's the last thing you took a shot of?
It was Makers
Nice.
on Friday. Yeah.
That's a strong shot. Like it's a good choice of a shot. It tastes good.
Yeah.
It's not like Old Crow, which is what you usually shoot for a whiskey.
Ooh, I'm not. Oh man, I actually asked the place. I was like, "What's your well?" I wanted like a tequila and spread or whatever,
Yeah.
and I asked them what their well tequila was, and they were like Montezuma, and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna spend some more money and not get that because I've had too many fucked up nights on Montezuma tequila.
All right.
And it's gross. It's just a bad tequila, dude. I mean, it's the shittiest of the shit. So I got
Man,
El
yeah.
Jimador.
So El Jimador, there you go. That's what I've got in the freezer right now, baby. That's what I've been making those margs with on occasion.
Hell yeah.
I think my last shot must have been tequila because that's what we have.
Yeah.
But maybe it wasn't. It also could be what we got for Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve, we get drunk. My family gets drunk playing games, and we did that via Zoom this year, John. And
That's fine, but
I got Jameson. It was a Jameson cold brew.
ooh,
So it was like Jameson, but it kind of tasted like coffee, but it mostly tasted like Jameson. But
that sounds awesome.
it was the shit, and I was drinking it straight. So
Yeah, but here's where I gave you such an odd look when you said that. It wasn't that I was like, oh, what you hang out with your family, you fucking. That wasn't it.
Okay.
Like the odd look was because that's been like 4 months since you've taken a shot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going out to bars, and when I do, I'm driving home.
Yeah.
So I try not to do shots, although I did come close last Saturday at the open mic that I did because they had the, beer in a sidecar deal.
Oh, there you go.
But I didn't do it, which was the right move.
Fuck you. Judging me. Judging me.
That's all I do.
Judging you. Sweet judgment zone. That's John Shrek.
That's John Holmes. Sounds better.
Yeah, but I mean, and also truer, but but I feel like you're judging me because I do. Like I said, I think I said this before on another podcast. If I'm doing shots, I know I'm getting blacked out. At 35, yeah. If I'm doing shots anymore, I'm like, let's do this. Let's roll this dice,
I mean, before that, I feel like the most frequently I was doing shots was probably like Monday nights at the hub because you get the beer in the sidecar for $5. I mean, you can't beat it.
$5 for it. It was great.
$5 for the equivalent of 2 drinks. So, like, I'm gonna do it.
What else you got on your phone that's so sexy?
Oh, I meant to say this. I don't even know if it's funny around the Disney World shit, but like,
Oh yeah.
it's like it was like walking around Disney World that hadn't yet gotten rid of all the racist shit yet. Like, did you see that? Did you see that Disney guy this week that wrote that op-ed? Op-ed? It's a weird way to say op-ed.
Yeah, that was wild. But I can also say
Op-ed.
definitely did it.
There was it blew up on Twitter the other day, but there was some guy that was like, I'm a Disney dad, but the wokeness is killing Disney.
Oh, I did see that. Because I've seen it already become memes.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey man,
like I'm a fan of cross that out and put something else in, but this wokeness is killing it.
Oh, that's great. But he just needs to go to the Battery ATL. He'll feel right at home. You know, it feels like
Right
Disney World. It's still racist, so you're good, man. It'll be like going to Disney in 2018, back in the good old days before they got woke.
Yeah. Back when our Lord and Savior Donald J. Trump was president.
Oh, baby, do you remember? Miss me yet?
Still no.
Dude, that was my favorite thing to share during the early years of the Trump presidency.
What? The Biden?
Was the no, it was
Obama.
Obama. It says "Miss me yet," and like it never got anything.
People
one
weren't
cared.
ready for that. You post that like a year ago. People will be like, "Fuck yeah."
Yeah.
Would have blown up the internet.
Would have blown it up. That's not what I was posting something else. What was it? I don't even remember.
You're posting dick pics and butthole pics. I've seen them both.
I was posting that too. I was posting
Hey man,
that
nothing
too.
wrong with that. Got to get your OnlyFans out there somehow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so the rest is going to be just rants again, I think. Just like
do it.
That's all
Let's do this.
That's all I think
I'm on
about.
my third one, buddy. Let's
Oh, you're like let's hurry.
Come on.
All right. I got a lot. We don't have to get to it all. So, all right. So this was from a few days ago. This was Marco Rubio on Twitter. Remember little Marco?
I do.
Marco from Florida, senator from Florida, failed presidential candidate, got really cucked by Trump over and over again. Really,
who did it?
Pretty funny. Oh, he got cucked by Chris Christie too. That was really great because he kept saying the same thing over and over again, and Chris Christie fucking got him. And he's going to be our next president, so that's cool.
Yeah.
So this is Marco Rubio.
White House.
we got to get fat. I mean, fat is America. Why don't the Dems elect a fat president?
Exactly.
They're lazy slobs, so you think there'd be more of them.
Yeah, we're all atheists, just eating everything. Godless heathens.
Godless pigs. Okay, Marco Rubio. Florida small business owners are all telling me the same thing. They can't find people to fill available jobs. You can come up with all kinds of reasons and wave around all the Ivy League studies you want, but what does common sense tell you is the reason? So I want to ask you, John, what does common sense tell you the reason is that small businesses in Florida can't find people to work there?
Pay people a living wage.
You'd think that was it. He didn't actually give an answer, but that's my answer.
That's it, right? Like they'll
it
pay
is
below minimum wage and hire cheap.
Well, here's the thing, John. The real reason is because people are lazy and they're going to get paid more on unemployment than they're going to get paid working for less than the living wage, and that makes them lazy. Yes. That means they're lazy because because they value their own labor. Sorry, but that's not what this country's about.
We hate people who ask to be treated like people.
You are pigs and you will eat this slop. That's what you will do.
Eat the slop. They're pigs. Feed them slop.
That's the funniest sentence I've ever heard in my life.
I can't claim that. I thought you knew. That's a
No, I know. It's
okay.
Sam Talent, I think.
No, I know it as Jeffrey Asmus out of Chicago.
Oh, okay. Great story. We don't have to tell it.
Yeah.
We don't have to tell it, but it's a great sentence. They're pigs, feed them slop. And that really is just the kind of standard Republican viewpoint of workers. And it's been prevalent since the beginning of the lockdown. Like I honestly heard people that I work with saying this kind of shit of like people are getting paid more on unemployment, so they don't want to, they don't want to take these jobs that, pay less than fucking unemployment. It's like how it is mind blowing to me. I know how, because this entire country has been indoctrinated by capitalism from moment one, and every media outlet is a right-wing media outlet for the most part. Mm-hmm. If you're hearing it on the radio, it's right-wing propaganda. Unless it's public access, in which case, you're probably not hearing it because who's listening to that? Yeah. If you are seeking that out, you are already well ahead of somebody that's, listening to the news on the radio.
Do you want me to say something?
Well, I didn't know if you were if you were trying to get in there.
I agree completely. If you're actually listening to PBS, NPR, public radio, you're gonna hear. I mean, everyone calls them liberal news outlets, but it's like they just report the facts. It's that if the facts are liberal, then you're the problem.
Yeah, and also it's not. I mean, it's liberal because liberal is not a leftist ideology.
Yeah, I know, right?
But what they mean is that it's far left, and it's like it's not that. It's actually far right.
It's amazing.
But you've been so indoctrinated.
Yeah, dude. It's so like I found this out that in other countries, how like we'll be like, oh, this place is country's a left leaning country, right? Like that. Mm-hmm. And in other countries, they're taught that America is far right, which it is. It is the government. They teach that the government is far right. I'm like, yeah, dude, that's exactly true. We're not moderate at all. We're not. Left.
People who say they're centrists are like, they're right wingers.
I mean, in terms of the world, political spectrum, even the moderates or the centrists in fucking the United States are right wing.
I would say that even in the United States, because most people, when they're polled, when you remove politics and labels from the equation, the majority of Americans are left wing. They support universal health care. Yeah. They support a living wage as the minimum wage. So like, no, and I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I meant like politicians. Yeah.
Yeah, but I want to take that a step further because I feel like people that I've talked to personally who do ingest a lot of this media think, oh, like we need more moderation. We need more centrism. It's like, no, here's why. Because the only viewpoints that are portrayed in United States media, for the most part, if you're watching it on TV, if you're hearing it on the radio, it is right wing.
Oh, yeah.
You're not hearing leftist. The most leftist ideology you're hearing is if they play a clip of Bernie Sanders, and even that is like not that left. And they very rarely play his voice without, talking down about him.
Yeah. Talking about how crazy he is. He wants people to be able to afford medicine or even not pay for medicine. What?
He thinks that it's people's right to not die from things that are preventable. Like how yuck. Communist.
What a fucking commie.
Doesn't he know that communism kills?
Yeah.
Not guns, not police. They don't kill. Communism kills.
All those Antifas.
With their soup and their rocks.
Yeah, with their soup and their bats that they don't have.
And the guns that I don't actually know that they have, but I'm assuming they have, and that's why I'm going to have justification to murder them in the street.
Yeah. All those damn Antifas storming the Capitol.
But so that whole minute, the whole like not finding people to work, like it's frustrating. Like somebody in my life, not going to say names, not going to imply who it was, but they made a similar comment that it was such a throwaway comment that I didn't even bother getting into it with them. But at the same time, I was like, that's just what they've heard parroted on the radio, probably parroted by their coworkers who all think the exact same way. Yeah. I think the comment specifically, he was talking about a restaurant that wasn't open because they're trying to hire more people right now because they don't have
Because
Like,
the living wage for restaurant work. Let's start that discussion, John.
sure, yeah. So the point is his viewpoint, which is the viewpoint that has been parroted and is echoed around right wing and I mean honestly, liberal, media
Outlets.
spheres, is that people don't want to, these kids don't want to work. Like these kids don't want to, and this is not even actually a new thing. This is like the kids don't work as hard as we did, blah, blah, blah. It's like,
Yeah, that's been going on since the dawn of time, dude.
that's been, well, yeah. And I've definitely witnessed it plenty throughout my own existence. But, shit. Now I feel like I'm all over the place. So
No, we're just talking about the idea that,
people just don't want to work.
Yeah, people just don't want to work. No one
Which,
wants to
first of all, true. I don't want to fucking work. And I don't think anybody should fucking be compelled to work and not die in a ditch. But, communist utopianist over here, I guess.
Man, that's just
Something-
all we are.
Something totally possible with the amount of money that this country has. But, I mean, no. We need billionaires, John. We need billionaires, not a creative class.
Yeah. Dude.
So anyways, so the problem is not people don't want to work. That's not the problem. Literally has never been the problem. The problem is that these companies don't want to pay a living wage. And I know you said that already, but and especially this is something I heard on NPR when we were driving around earlier, but it was some story about I forget what the story was about, but a point that they made was that people don't want to commute to jobs an hour to make. They don't want. First of all, people don't want to commute in general, but they definitely don't want to commute to jobs that pay minimum wage. And it's okay, then you don't get to open a business in a fucking suburb and pay a minimum wage because that's not even economically viable for you. I don't know how you can possibly pass the blame off to the worker when you're not let's put any criticism of capitalism aside. This is capitalism 101. If you want the labor to work for you, you have to pay enough for it to be reasonable for them to want to work for you. And if they have to commute and also your suburb doesn't have any way of getting to it without a car and you're going to pay minimum wage at your restaurants, who do you think's going to work there? Because nobody that lives here can afford an apartment if they're making minimum wage at fucking Chipotle.
No, dude. It's so crazy. If you're paying, what's the minimum wage? $7.15, $7.50?
Yeah. Something like that.
You're paying $7.15 an hour, and it costs someone. Let's say they don't have a car. They're catching a couple buses, probably. Maybe the MARTA, if that's even available.
I don't know what kind of buses you can get out here. If there are any, it's few and far between. So anybody that's working out here has to have a car.
But I'm saying, even if you have to catch a bus and the MARTA, and you have to go out to the suburbs to get shit, to get a job, that's gonna be probably $5 to $7 just getting on the just getting to work.
Yeah, the different transfers and not to mention the amount of time it's gonna take to get out here.
Yeah, man. No, yeah. Oh, boo-hoo. No, yeah, because you're in a shitty part of the town that no one who can work or wants to work there can get to.
Yeah.
That's not fucking
dude.
That's not the people's fault. That's the business fault.
Yeah, who is supposed to work? And then I think there's a big argument. People make this argument a lot with fast food wages. They're they don't deserve to make $15 an hour. It's it's just high school kids. It's first of all, not just high school kids. Okay, can we get past this classist notion that only high school kids work fast food?
Yeah. Jesus fucking Christ, yeah.
Dude,
it's not, dude. We've all gone to fast food restaurants. Mm-hmm. Dude, there are people. I was at a White Castle one time, and there was a baby crying in the back of the White Castle, server area, because the woman couldn't afford And she apologized to me. She was like, "Sorry about my kid." I'm like, she was like taking my order. I'm
I'm
like,
sorry.
"Yeah, dude." I'm like,
Can I give you 20
Jesus
extra bucks
Christ,
tonight, Jesus?
this is just terrible. She's like, "Yeah, I couldn't find a babysitter, and I have to work." And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, this is what's wrong with this country. Is that people can't even. It's not a high school kid. I mean, Chick-fil-A mostly, yeah, but actual workers in like McDonald's and shit, they're not. Maybe in the suburbs, they're high school kids, but you go downtown, you go to a place like that, dude, it's not high school kids. It's just people
Yeah,
trying to
and
make
I
a
mean,
living.
yeah, and I mean that those kind of comments do come from people who clearly don't know anybody
Yeah.
who work those kind of jobs.
Or
Like,
if they do, it's their friend's high school kid. And
yeah.
it's like, yeah, but it's like, that's not everyone.
And also, like, why? What in what reality is it okay to have a business model fully reliant upon the idea that you need to use child labor that is underpaid?
Yeah, dude.
Do you really think that's why McDonald's is successful?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the reason. That's the
So,
reason. It's because
so
they employ child labor and don't pay them as much. Plus, they're saying that child labor is okay, but they don't deserve. It's just so mind boggling to me that they're
well,
flipping
it can.
hamburgers. Have you ever had to have you? What's the point of what's they? Oh, they want 15 at least. $15 an hour to flip hamburgers. It's like, have you ever had to deal with the public at a McDonald's? Holy shit.
Dude, I went to Zaxby's a couple weeks ago, and
Yeah.
I hate to admit, but I went near when they were closing, but there were other people in the drive-through lines. I was like, I'm not a total asshole,
Yeah.
just
You
kind
are,
of an
man.
asshole.
Yeah.
So the guy that I was chatting with, he was probably in his late teens, early 20s, and he was in good spirits. And he's like, it's my last day, man. He's like, I'm getting out of this shit, and I was like, well, hey, congrats, man. Like if this is a congrats moment, congrats. He's like, yeah, he's like, I just can't deal with the people anymore, man. The people just like treat you like shit. They like
Dude,
they act like you're not a
exactly.
person, and I'm like, I'm really sorry, dude. That
Yeah.
is so fucked.
Yeah,
Um,
dude.
And that is a reality. That's a reality for
Yeah.
anybody that has to deal with the public.
Holy shit. People have never felt more entitled than when talking to a fucking fast food worker. And it's like, yeah, they should be paid more for dealing with this shit.
For
I
that alone.
asked for a medium Coke. You gave me a small or a large. You gave me a large Coke. I asked for a medium.
You could
then
use
they
it
just
small.
berate them.
Yeah, it's insane because their job is multifaceted. And also, how is the person that interacts with your customer the most intimately, the face of your brand,
Yeah.
is the person that you pay the least? That's fucking insane. It doesn't make any sense. Other than under a system where it's specifically structured so that's the case.
Yeah.
So that the labor value is being the surplus labor value, is that the phrase I'm looking for?
You got it.
Is extracted and given to the leadership.
Yeah, and to the CEOs.
Who does the least.
They're not. Dude, I remember working when I worked at Mama Mimi's, right? The pizza place. I remember people coming in and being like, how is it today? You know, because we were a small local business.
Yeah.
And I was like, they'd be like, how's business been today? And I'm like, dude, we've been so busy. And they've been like, oh, that's good. I'm like, not really. I'm not making fucking commission off this pizza, dickhole. You know?
Great. You own this place, right? It's like
more work for me. I'd rather people stayed away and still get paid. You know?
Yeah, don't come in. I want to lose this job as fast as possible.
Don't fucking come in. I'm gonna be rude.
Or the problem is that employers would use this as a means to make sure that their employees are paid as little as possible. But those kind of jobs should include commission. The amount of people you have to interact, the amount of but on top of the minimum wage, which is 15,
Yeah,
at
dude.
least
Yeah,
20.
that'd
Let's
be
say 23. 23 is adjusted for inflation. So
yeah.
um, so yeah, like anyone that's working the register, like every single fucking person you have to deal
Everybody.
with, you get a percentage of that fucking sale.
If you're working the register, they should have, because dude, nobody at McDonald's they're like, you're on register duty today. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like tomorrow you might be on fries. Tomorrow you might be on cooking. Tomorrow you might be on drive-through. It's not just like you have to be trained in everything, like you said,
yeah.
multifaceted. It's not just like, oh, I'm just the register guy, you know, or
For
I'm
sure.
just the drive-through person. You're working everything. You're mopping, dude. Like, and yeah,
It's like, hey, here, do all of the least desirable shit. We'll call you essential, and then we will pay you like we could
pay you shit,
care less about you.
dude. Gonna care less. I
Oh,
wanted to get into. I'm sorry. You
so
got something.
this is one last point I think about
Yeah.
all that shit that I wanted to say that it's like this is also operating under the fact that like these restaurants also have diminished their staff because of COVID. They haven't been
Yeah.
open. They haven't needed people, and people who got out, either like people who just got out of the industry, either found a job elsewhere or they're like, yeah, I'm getting paid more to not, why would I fucking come back and deal with this bullshit
Yeah, dude.
when you're not paying me enough to make like the framing is always the government's paying you too much, not the employers are
Yeah.
making you starve.
That's it. That's it.
And I've said it other places, I'll say it right here. If your company cannot survive without paying its employees a living wage, not a minimum wage, not even 15 an hour, if you can't afford a living wage for where you're living, you don't deserve to exist.
You're not
It
ready
shouldn't
to have.
exist.
You're not ready to have fucking workers. If you're running a
Yeah.
shop out of your garage and you're like, this is getting pretty good, I should hire a worker for $5 an hour.
Yeah.
Then
it's
you're
like,
not
no.
ready. You're not ready to have workers.
Yeah. No, you do it.
Yeah,
It's your,
you do
your idea. You do it.
Yeah. What I did want to get into was, and I'm sorry if this is fucking up your pre-planned schedule,
Please.
but how crazy is it that, all right, so this is just my belief. This is my belief. I feel like a lot of people share this, though, is that that no job should be allowed to give you less than minimum wage. I'm talking about like waitresses or servers.
Right.
Any kind of serving industry where but they're like, oh, those tips are accumulated or counted into your wages. Like, yeah, they're still taxing those tips, but listen, I'm not trying to say like I tip well, but I tip okay. I tip good. I'll say that. Always.
And we all should be, by the way.
Yeah, we all should, but that shouldn't reflect their fucking ability to get paid. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. And it's insane. It's such a stupid system.
Yeah. It's this idea that like, oh, you get tips, so you don't deserve a living wage. It's like, no, you deserve tips for being good at your job.
And you know the thing that sucks, and I mean it's designed this way to keep people fucking, on that fucking wheel, keep going, keep outputting. Is that so the company can get away with giving them $2.25 an hour or whatever of untipped wages.
Yeah.
Because they're going to make all this money in tips, so we don't have to give them a living wage. And then, at a significant percentage of people who are going to come through that day, they're going to tip 10% or less.
Oh, dude.
That's just the reality.
Yeah. They'll spend. I know people.
Or don't tip
I don't
at all.
know anybody because I would immediately call them out. But I know servers who have been like, this person didn't even tip me, and that was like $100 meal.
Yeah.
And they get tipped like a dime, or something like.
Which is such a fuck you,
dude. It's such a fuck you, and it's. I mean, these people are working for you. And the idea that we're not giving them a livable wage because it's assumed people will tip well, but most people are assholes and don't.
Or not even that they're straight up assholes and feel like they're not entitled to it, but they just don't even know. They think, oh yeah, this is like whatever. Like they don't even think
No,
about it.
I
Or
don't.
they
I
see
I
or they
just
or they see their bill and they're like, I
oh,
spent too much.
that's
They'll be
that's
fine.
way
Someone else.
more.
Yep.
That's way more. What's happening then? I doubt anyone's like. Listen, I'm not saying there aren't bad servers, and people will judge that based on their tip,
Which I don't think they are
which
entitled to
is
do
which
that, by
is
the way.
which is an asshole move also. But uh, the idea that people don't know to tip, like even 10, I mean, it's supposed to be like 20% at restaurants, but that was back in like
I
fucking
tip Yeah, I tip 20% if it was not satisfactory.
yeah,
That's the bottom tier for me.
yeah. But the idea that
But people
people
that's
don't
not
know
the
that
standard.
they're supposed to tip like I disagree. I think people do know, and they're just, but they're stuck on on like oh, you only have to tip 10% or whatever, and they're not. Maybe you're right. Now that I'm saying it out loud, I think you're right. They're just not
No,
cognizant that the fact that these people have to survive on this. They think they're making like, oh, they're
right.
making so much money.
I
I
th- I
don't get.
think a lot of I think a lot of it comes down to people not necessarily looking at it as this person what you're paying this person is what they're surviving off of.
Yeah,
I don't think I think there's a lot of people, especially more privileged people who work office jobs or whatever, or who just
yeah,
don't work for tips in general, don't think about that one to one. Like this is a like literally you are like you sat here for 2 hours and if you're paying me $8, you paid me $8 an hour. Or I'm
yeah,
sorry, $4 an hour.
yeah.
Like, oh, they've got other tables. But either way, like the point is like, um, I think the standard has shifted a lot, especially as it relates to COVID. But like, I mean, I think it's seen by a lot of people like 20% is if like they did an amazing job. Like that's the tops. Like it's like,
No,
I mean, no, like that should be the minimum. And for
that's
me, it
it. Yeah,
is like, for me, that's like, and again, this is going back to Doug Stanhope and like
yeah,
determining like, my life's trajectory about certain things. But I'm pretty sure it was Stanhope who said like, if I have a waitress that treats me like shit, I tip her more because she's probably going through the
yeah,
worst thing
dude.
you can possibly imagine. Like that, and I think it comes down to that too, where like the person that you're interacting with, because you're giving them your money, whether you're paying them via tips or just giving them cash at a fast food restaurant, but there's
Yeah.
something mentally where like you don't view them as a human that's on par with you. You
Oh
think
yeah,
that
dude.
you
It's
are
the
better than them and
it's
that
the
you somehow have power over them.
yeah. It's an incredibly imperialist classist system that we live in. It's just like we think that people who it just goes back to the idea that if you're poor, you deserve that.
Right. And if you
Like,
work at this place, it's because you are lesser than and you can't get
yeah,
anything
dude.
better.
Yeah, it's just so fucked up mentally what we have to how this in America's society revolves. It's just this idea that if you want to be rich, you're gonna be rich.
Right.
And it's like that's been the case for very few people.
If you want to be the CEO of McDonald's, you start working at McDonald's and you work your way up the food chain. That's how you do it. You start as a cashier, 10 years later, CEO, baby. Work hard enough. Mop
Yeah,
those
dude.
floors
I've
good
always
enough.
said that. Hold
We're
on.
definitely having a connection issue. It's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. I'm
I
just
think we
waiting
might be
for a
good now.
second. All right. I've always said that the two words that will well, I make it even, right? I say the two words that will confuse a liberal is a proud racist. You tell it's like I'm a proud racist. They'll be like, wait, what? You can't be. How are you proud to be? What? But
It's called rebel pride.
yeah. But the two words that'll confuse a Republican are working poor. Because they're like, what? You can't be working and be poor. That doesn't make no. You work and then you climb that ladder and you become the CEO of Wendy's and you're making money. What? Working poor? What?
Wendy started as a mop head.
Yeah, they don't.
Now she's on the sign.
They don't get it. They can't understand that you can be working and still be poor.
And I mean, that really is the result. That's the result of the system we currently live in. And I mean, it's been a deterioration since probably, the early 80s when Reagan took over, because, it used to, I mean, it has once been a thing where you could, if you were the right person and you were privileged enough, you could work your way up that food chain. It's never been to the extent that they pretend, but the problem with a minimum wage and why you see such strong opposition to it in corporate America and in Republican spheres and in Democrat spheres, because they're still fighting Democrats on the fucking minimum wage. Even the only bisexual Democrat in the Senate right now, Kirsten Sinema, Bernie Sanders.
Rock on, Bernie.
Yes, that was good. But the reason that the minimum wage is such they so fiercely defend not having to pay people a living wage is because that inherent class dynamic in every interaction would be eradicated. Because you go to McDonald's, that person is making $23 an hour. I'm not somehow better than them, because there is that inherent dynamic of like, I can treat you subhuman because you only make $6 an hour.
Like,
whereas if that person was making like union wages, a living wage, enough to own a fucking house, you would not be able to treat essential workers the way that we treat them.
What I don't get is, dude, it's just it's when money takes value over life. That's late stage capitalism for you. When money has more prestige over life, it's so fucked up. Because you think like, because there's been so many assholes who've been like, I drive a BMW, I make $80,000 a year. You're a fucking, it's that kind of mentality. It's so pointless, dude. It's so worthless to think about these people as lesser thans, but that's what the fucking capitalist system is built on. Think of them as lesser thans. They don't, you're better than them. You're better.
And to give the people who are making $80,000 in wages a year this superiority. It's like, no, you are also a wage slave. You are also a wage slave. You could also be way richer than you are, but your bosses aren't letting you.
No. What I don't get is when people are like, oh, so like you expect a McDonald's employee to make $15 an hour. Firemen only make $17 an hour. Are you saying that a guy who works at McDonald's is better than a fireman? It's like, no, everything should be lifted up. You will not understand that. They're making record profits. The CEOs are making record profits and record bonuses that have been going on for the past like 10 years. I've been reading about this, and it's just increasing more and more that the top 1% are making. And then they think that they don't deserve it because this person doesn't deserve it. No, dude, fucker, everything should be lifted up.
It all comes down to making the fucking poor people, whether they're like impoverished or just like, the person that's making $80,000, $100,000, $120,000, $200,000, whatever, like that's that's more than anybody needs to live. But that person is still working for a wage. That person is still dependent on daddy boss, daddy CEO for like whatever. So having a lot of people who are like, the upper middle class or whatever.
Yeah.
Who are the ones that are perpetuating what you're saying of like, why should that person make 15 when this person only makes 17? It's like, yeah, like the fact that you even think of it that way proves that you think you're rich, which you're not. You're richer than them, but you're not rich. Like the people that you're defending, the CEOs, the owners, the billionaires, like they laugh at $80,000 a year. They're like, I wouldn't do anything for $80,000, So it really comes down to that, because you think of the wealthiest person in your life and they are still they're not a rich person, but they see themselves amongst, like, when they're defending the billionaire class, they feel like they're defending themselves. And it's like, you don't even have $1 million.
Dude, I've seen like $55,000 a year people, right? Like that's their
You talking to me, John?
Yeah, I'm talking about, whoa, you 55? Oh, hell yeah, buddy. Good for you. But I'm talking about like people making $50,000 a year, which is now like lower middle class or lower to middle class,
Right.
But I've seen people then being like, oh, I don't want to pay taxes. These people don't deserve a fucking levy or this school doesn't deserve a levy. They don't deserve that. It's like, dude, you're barely making it by right now. I don't think you understand how close you are to a car accident, a hospital stay, a disease, something to just wipe you out.
Yep.
But it's like, dude, I don't like to get into my finances, right? But I have over $5,000 in the bank right now, and I don't need that. I give money away all the time because what do I need? I live in an apartment that costs me $800 a month to live in.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and I don't need that much money. Honestly, what do I need more than $5,000 for? That's how I'm looking at it.
The reality is that nobody does, and in a just society that was a society and not like a fucking constant competition to not fucking die, that would be all anybody needed. But like, that's just not a reality, because if you have a medical emergency or whatever, and you're injured. Your healthcare doesn't pay for the injury, and then also you're injured in a way that you can't go back to the job that you were doing before. Now you're triple fucked. Like, you're so fucked, and that's so many people in this country right now. And it really is like, it's a powder keg, and the uprisings that we saw last summer were significant, but I think they're nothing compared to what will happen when this bubble bursts, because it's coming. Dude. I don't know when. I don't know what's going to be the final straw, but it can't continue to snowball in the way that it has. The fact that it didn't happen this past year is pretty shocking to me. But like, it will happen. It's coming. So like, either these companies need to wise up and make sure that they're not going to get the ire of their workforce, or it's just going to, it's going to be a massive general strike or worse, whatever it ends up being.
If I can do anything in this life, it's to bring the revolution up from underground. All right, dude, can we pause for a second? I really have to pee.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We should probably wrap it up soon, but I'm also not ready to wrap it up. Well, John, why don't we leave this thing on a positive note? The pig that killed George Floyd. Guilty. 3 times a guilty.
It's a 420 miracle, buddy. Here's that was dying in prison.
That was nice and timely for them to put it on 420. Just another thing to celebrate with my Delta 8 Hemp, bud, one pig getting put away, and the rest of them continuing to go free
Mm-hmm. I didn't
forever
even.
and ever. Amen.
Hell yeah. I hope he gets killed in prison. I mean, he's gonna be in. He's not gonna be in GP. General
Which is so
population.
fucked up. They should have to.
Yeah,
Let him deal with being profiled every moment of his fucking life.
dude. I thought. All right. So like when the case first started, I was like, it's just gonna be another bullshit thing.
Yeah.
But then I didn't want to stay too in depth with the case because I was like, because I thought I knew I would just become depressed, right?
It's going to make you go crazy. I didn't
It
follow it
is.
either. I didn't follow the case either.
I would catch some snippets of the shit each day, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and like as it was building, I'm like, oh shit, these people are going against Chauvin.
Yeah, they're
Chauvin.
going in on him. His
They're
coworkers,
they're
the
like they were
cops.
like former like also people in the police. Like I would see things that they were like news headlines, and they're like other policemen are condemning Derek Chauvin, and I'm like, oh shit, this might turn out well.
Yeah. Yeah, because pigs never turn. They never turn on their own.
Dude, that thin blue line, if that's that horse shit. That's the reason we have this problem is
Do you
because
think any?
what?
Do you think anybody was burning that flag afterwards? There's like those damn prosecutors who said that he was guilty. It's all bullshit.
Oh shit. I would oh my god, that's hilarious to think about. Dude, that's a good joke. That is a good joke. Do you think anybody was burning the blue lives matter flag when Derek Chauvin got found guilty? Or taking it down or
This
they put their thin blue line flag at a half mast for Derek Chauvin.
this system is no longer upholding the oppression of
Yeah.
blacks,
Fuck them.
even though it is.
It still is.
It absolutely is. And oh man, there's a couple things I wanted to say about this
Yeah.
specifically. Okay, well, you know what? First of all, I think we need to hear our leader Nancy Pelosi, memorialize George Floyd. So I'm going to play the audio. I've got it right here.
Yeah, do it.
And thank God the jury validated what we saw. So again, thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing your life for justice, for being there to call out to your mom. How heartbreaking was that? Call out for your mom. I can't breathe. But because of you, and because of thousands, millions of people around the world who came out for justice, your name will always be synonymous with justice. And now
Whoa.
Alzheimer's.
You want to talk about cringeworthy? Jesus. That is so dumb. I mean, thank you for being a martyr.
Thank you for being murdered in cold blood on camera.
Jesus, thank you for calling out to your mother. Oh my God. Dude, he did that because he knew he was going to die.
Yeah.
And you're fucking, oh my God.
Thank you. Thank you, George. Thank you for what you did. You're such a good boy. Thank you.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Had you heard that clip?
No, I have not. That's the first time I've heard that.
Have you seen responses to it?
Yeah, I've seen the responses to it. I've heard some people were being like, Nancy Pelosi, what the fuck? And I was like, I don't know what this is about. So I just glossed all over me.
Isn't it so much worse than you were imagining?
Oh, yeah. Way worse.
Legit. Because I was in the same boat. I saw it early in the week, but I was seeing a lot of responses to it. And I was like, oh, Nancy Pelosi said some tone deaf bullshit. Colored me shocked. So I'm like, I don't really care. But then I came across the clip and I was like, oh my God, that is worse than even reading the words that she said were not as bad as hearing her say it.
Jesus Christ. He is. The Democrats are so tone deaf to everything. Like when they do anything that doesn't revolve around around their own aristocracy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or anything that they can modify that doesn't really change any class dynamics, you know?
Exactly. Dude,
But I mean, this is also this is just another great example of like, maybe we don't let 80-year-olds be fucking representatives of anything.
yeah.
She's 81. She's 81 years old. And she's the Speaker of the House again.
That seems almost as bad as when they did the BLM in solidarity by dressing dashikis and other African garb and took a knee.
Somebody did a great tweet where they said these comments made this look like a great PR stunt.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
like
exactly.
That's how bad that clip was.
Thank you.
Thank you for screaming in terror because you were dying.
Yeah, you know what would have been better than thanking him would be making sure he didn't have to die.
Yeah, you know, to stop sending military equipment to police and like doing something in your own district. You know,
goddamn thing about people who live in the country you represent.
That's really all that the system has to offer in terms of justice is signal or virtue signaling.
Yeah,
or
that's all the Democrats are.
Yeah, a virtue signal. They change. They'll occasionally change. Like, you know, this I think yesterday, and you could argue this is the virtue signal, but it's good. The fact that Biden came out and recognized the Armenian genocide, 106 years after the fact, but it still happened. He was the first American president to do
really?
that.
Dude, I was taught that in history class. What?
Well, it definitely hasn't been recognized by literally any president in the United States. I think something like 30 some plus countries recognize the Armenian genocide, but the United States kind of
Turkey does.
The thing is,
recognize.
no, Turkey's upset with Biden now. And hopefully, I think this is the perfect setup for him to pardon the Turkey in November. But boom. Anyways,
there it is.
But America is one of the biggest purveyors of genocide over the past 50 years. So like, what we're gonna pretend like we care about. Are we gonna apologize for the Iraqi genocide next in the 2000s? Like, that's what we did. We committed genocide in Iraq.
Bad.
It was the 9/11 thing. It turned out they weren't involved, but
hey, if you ain't with us, you against us. And
that's right.
Fuck it, I'll go it alone.
We said mission accomplished, and then we proceeded to kill 800,000 more of them.
Hell yeah. Why? Because we like their oil and our dependency upon that natural resource. That's gonna.
The thing that I feel like, I don't know, we're all in our own bubbles, and I'm surrounded by leftists online, so like,
yeah,
take that for what you will. But I feel like a lot of people's responses to this has been slightly tempered, where everyone's excited that he was found guilty, but this is not justice, and this is not the end of the fight. And that is reassuring to see many people of that opinion, because it could very easily be like, we did it, it's over, all good to go, we did it, and no more. And that's what the Democrats are banking on, it seems. And I think, first of all, it can be identified by like all of these different mayors and cops. Like the chief of police in Cincinnati released a statement.
Really? I didn't see that.
After the thing. And it's all just like the fact that there are straight up cops. I mean, cops testified against him in his own department.
Yeah.
That there are these liberal mayors who sicked the cops on their constituents all summer and imposed curfews. John Cranley, sicked the cops on protesters straight up. And that was across the country, every fucking state, every fucking city run by Democrat and Republican mayors, but Democrats most notably because they're supposed to be like, these are crazy liberals who are out in the streets. How come the liberals aren't celebrating it or whatever?
Yeah.
So regardless, like, I feel like that is a signal that like the ruling class in general is really hoping that this is how it gets treated, that this was the justice and it's over now.
Yeah, dude. Hey, they don't get it. they're gonna be like, I'm surprised Nancy Pelosi didn't come out and say, "Thank God we ended racism." You know, like some tone deaf shit like that.
Protesting is over. We can move on now.
No one has to protest the injustices because racism is over.
We fixed it. We thought we fixed it with Obama, but then turns out, whoopsies. And then we tried again, and we did it. Now, no one will be killed by the police except for the one that was killed while the sentence was being read.
Yeah.
But okay, so just back to the point that I just made. There was a piece on Axios that came out later that week or later that day, probably.
Yeah.
The headline, okay, is April 21st. Chauvin verdicts reduce pressure for police reform. That's the headline. And these are two bullet points near the top. Senior Democratic and Republican aides who would never let their bosses say so on record privately told Axios the convictions have lessened pressure for change.
Of course. That's what they think. They think now this shit is done with, and that's exactly what we can't let them think, dude. We have to keep marching for this shit, disrupting the status quo. We have to let them know that, no, this isn't just a one-time thing. This needs to be accountability needs to happen every time.
To the point that it no longer happens.
No shit.
And that's not that's really not the only thing that needs to happen for that to be
by God no
reality. But still, like that, that should be the default. That should be like the goal. Even though it alone is not going to achieve that goal, that should be the goal that we're pointing towards, so that there's not just another name that becomes a hashtag.
Yeah, dude.
Another living, breathing human being that becomes a fucking mural in every city across the country.
Yeah, you know what's sad is like probably by the time this gets released in 2 days, there's gonna be enough. There's probably gonna be like 3 more.
Well, yeah, because what was it? It was on last Saturday night, that kid in
Columbus.
Chicago, what's his name?
The Chicago one.
Yeah, you did. You definitely did. Toledo, Adam Toledo, the 13-year-old kid.
Toledo, yeah, I did hear that. Okay.
So he was running from the cop. There apparently the cops were responding to some shots fired, like 8 shots fired. Yeah. This kid, Adam Toledo, ended up with a firearm that was not his. He was 13 years old. It was this other guy's, but the other guy, he was mixed up in some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
But of course the right-wing talking point is like, well, he had a gun. So basically he deserved it. It's like, I can't even get into all that shit right now. But yeah, so there was Adam Toledo, that was on Saturday night. And then the Chauvin verdict happened. And at the same time, that young lady, that girl in Columbus, 15, 16 years old.
I haven't heard her name pronounced.
I haven't either.
I think it's like Micaiah.
Yeah, something like that. I wrote it down too, but again, I didn't hear it pronounced.
I haven't heard it pronounced.
Bryant.
Sure. What was
Say
it?
her name.
Micaiah
Bryant.
Micaiah Bryant.
Something.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure, so I apologize if it's if I'm not pronouncing it right, but dude, he like all the people there like she had a knife. She had a knife. But it's like she had a problem and needed to be treated with like dignity and respect instead of just being shot down in cold blood. Who cares if she had a knife? I don't give a fuck if she had a grenade launcher.
And the problem isn't that the cop responded to a violent situation. The problem is that the cop's first line of defense, despite having an entire fucking utility belt of fucking weapons that can be used to subdue people non-lethally. The first option is to pull out the Glock and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and it's over. Like you're literally called to de-escalate the situation. And yes, that's the fucking crazy situation to walk in on. Someone's like swinging around a knife and it's and you don't know the specifics about who these people are, but like, the specific problem is that the police's response is to pull out a Glock when they have all of these other weapons at their disposal.
Even
You know who's able to respond to knife violence without shooting people? Cops in the UK, because a lot of them don't have guns.
Yeah. Or the military, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, you know me. I'm not one to hold up the military for not killing brown people, because they do.
Mm-hmm.
That's
kind
their
of
job.
the entire reason they exist.
Exactly. But also they get taught more de-escalation tactics than, because you walk into a situation where something might be tense, you don't want to start shooting everyone, because that'll just make it worse. But it's like the cops think that makes it better.
Well, and that's literally how they're trained. They're trained to think their lives are at risk constantly, and they're like to be in that state of mind constantly is going to fuck you up. It's going to give you different forms of PTSD. Like, it all comes down to the way that they're trained and the way that they're armed and the way that they are allowed to be perceived in society as these like fucking, super soldiers patrolling the streets of Peoria.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, that's a whole thing that people have talked about. I've seen plenty of comments from people who were in the military who are like, this is a situation that military never would have opened fire. Like because the standards for engagement are way higher for the military. And, we have a fucking, brutal military that's killed millions. Like, and still our cops are more extreme than them.
Right? That's wild to me. That someone who's trained, they're only, listen, I mean, this is definitely a simplified version of it, but military, their only job is to kill, to like fucking, you know what I mean? Take over. That's what the troops on the ground are there for, to ensure peace with their peacekeeping rifles, right?
Peacekeeping M16s and
assault rifles.
and Predator drones and
dude. But
mortars,
the fact that
bunker busters.
I think I mentioned this before. I think on like one of the first 2 episodes or whatever, that cops get 6 weeks of gun training and like maybe a day or 2 of de-escalation tactics. So it of course they're going to reach for their gun every time, because that's all they've been trained to know how to do.
Yep.
It's been more than just, I think it's like an 8-week course to be a cop.
And insanely short.
Yeah, dude, that's extremely short. To push people out into the streets, to be able to deal with everything, that's too short. Even if we added 4 more weeks, like 3 months is what it's going to take to become a person who can end your life with a click of a trigger.
It should at least require a bachelor's degree. Like you have to go to school for years. You need to understand. That's something people bring up a lot too. It's like, you don't have to know the law. You just have to know that you have to enforce it.
Yeah. That's what's so fucked up.
By whatever means necessary.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's a couple things that I posted this week that I wanted to read into a microphone.
This week
maybe it'll make more sense for me to fucking just record it later and insert it, but I'm going to say it. Because I think another narrative that's perpetuated is like, oh, why do they have to destroy property? Why can't they just protest peacefully? It's like, because that doesn't fucking work.
Dude, also, they bitch when they protest peacefully. Fuck you.
So yeah, they don't care. They just don't want people speaking up. They just want to be able to watch their baseball without having somebody kneeling during the national fucking anthem or whatever they want. Which is just, they
don't want to
for their viewpoint to be dominant and for nobody to ever question it for any reason.
Yeah, dude.
And which, like, so you and I went to one of the demonstrations over the summer, and like once the march started, I was like, oh, this is like not if the cops are what's the damn word I'm looking for? Escorting you around town and shutting down
Yeah.
streets. That's not a protest. Like,
Yeah, dude.
it feels nice, but it's not a protest because you're literally protesting police brutality. And if the police are shutting down the streets for you,
Yeah.
then they don't feel threatened by you, which I'm not saying the police should feel threatened by the people. In fact, they shouldn't. That's the whole problem is that they feel threatened and they walk into situations feeling like their lives are at risk. But if the goal is for systemic change, then like the police can't be the ones that are like making sure that
Yeah.
whatever.
But you have to get a permit to fuck. I mean, it's all red tape and bullshit, bureaucratic or shit. But I mean, yeah, you got even to protest, you have to have a permit.
Right. And that also just, if your protest has a permit, then is it really a protest? Like that's
know,
the real
right?
question.
Yeah.
But the thing that I wanted to bring up, Derek Chauvin, those 3 guilty verdicts were the result of that precinct burning.
Oh yeah.
He would not have been found guilty if the precinct didn't burn, if worldwide protests didn't break out, if cities across the country didn't feel fear
Yeah.
that shit might pop off like crazy if
Yeah,
things
dude.
didn't start to reverse.
Which is so. I love it. I love the corporations and I love the idea that that's the only thing that brings change is fear in the hearts of those in control. Fear that they're going to lose power, that they're going to lose money, that they're going to lose their government seat, honestly.
Yep.
That's the only thing that's going to change that's the only way
And-
you get people's attention nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, to a certain extent, you might be able to point to the fact that all of these corporations are coming out against like the Georgia law and the other laws
Yeah.
that are being introduced across the country. Like that also could be a slight connection to the fact that they're like, we don't want
Yeah, dude.
we don't want another reason for mass protests to break out on the streets because our properties
Yeah.
are at risk. And guess
No
what?
shit.
When their property and money are at risk, that's when the system changes.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I don't want to hear a single fucking thing from any bullshit asshole that says, I wish they would just protest peacefully. Because
Yeah,
the
dude.
only protests that are effective are ones that get out of control, that burn down part of a city. Like, I'm sorry, property owner. If you're not some wealthy developer, that really sucks for you. But that's just a fucking reality.
Yeah.
Shit's a lot worse for a lot of people.
Yeah, dude.
And there
what your
are
experience-
inevitably going to be casualties. And I remember back when that big section of Milwaukee, burnt down, there were some small business owners, some immigrants,
Yeah.
whose lives were totally fucking flipped upside down because of that shit, who were like, it sucks, but like, this is what had to happen.
Yeah, dude.
So like, that's the person who I'm the most concerned about. And at least that one example of, I think it was like a Euro place or something.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, we're hopefully, insurance will kick in, but like, this is what had to happen. Like, this was the natural response. And like, that's what's going to continue to change things. So anyone that wants to pretend like protesters need to be more peaceful and like they just need to stop breaking windows, and it's like, no, I disagree. I'm not going to be out there throwing bricks and breaking shit because I'm weak and I have no tolerance for pain. And a night in jail would probably break me. But like, yeah, the pressure has to stay up.
I didn't go. Yeah. Yeah, dude. That's what this should be. That's what this lesson should be about, is that the only thing that's going to bring about change is pressure and fear. Fear in the people of, because the people on the streets marching are done with being afraid. It's time the people in charge should be afraid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what happened in this situation. But you have to make You have to make the protection of their assets align with accountability or justice or whatever,
Yes.
because otherwise they don't care.
You have to be like, hey, I can take your assets if I want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just Blue
spread-
Cross Blue Shield did not, tweet solidarity with George Floyd because that's what they really believe in their hearts. It's because they're like, we might not exist in 5 years, so let's get on the woke wagon.
Mm-hmm. Well, John Shrek, I love you. I don't care if you have anything else to say. I'm gonna say we had a good communist talk today. Good rebellion talk. I love you.
Woo!
This one's for you, John Shrek.
Oh, you got a shot. I got an empty beer.
Yeah, I got a little shot of tequila with a pickleback.
There you go.
Hey, like, subscribe, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I'm at John Holmes Lives. Where can they find you?
And I'm gone for life. You can't find me anywhere.
He's off the grid. All right. Hey, like, subscribe, rate us on everything. Soup for my family. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. Bye.
Soup for my family. It's unbelievable.